Hello everyone, Sableye here and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be looking at the early state of the Regulation E metagame, and of course we've only had a very limited amount of tournaments. However, I will be pulling the data from there, looking at some of the popular cores, looking at some of the Pokemon that are just doing well in general, and of course looking at anything that might be doing really well that also maybe doesn't have a lot of popularity at the moment. So we're going to jump immediately into things here with Chien-Pao and Ogerpon. Okay, now Chien-Pao Ogre, I say this very loosely because Ogre can really become anything you want it to be, right? If you want to be Defiant, which I think is a very cool combination with the Chien-Pao, because well now hey, you want to intimidate my Chien-Pao, you have to proc my Defiant. And what's cool about Ogre is when you Taro your Ogre, the Embody Mask actually gives you a speed boost, allowing you to outpace the Fluttermanes that would normally decimate your Chien-Paos. However, once you Tera, you one-shot the Fluttermane, you are now faster than the Fluttermanes, and you take them down. So I think that's a very cool way to look at this with the Ogre, if you just want to use the base Grass Ogre. But you also have the case where all the Ogres are good with this as well. Like, it's not just this Ogerpon, right? Ogerpon Fire as well is incredibly strong besides Chien-Pao. Ogerpon Water as well. I think Ogerpon Fire is probably one of the more common ones along with the Grass one beside these two, especially because like Ogerpon just gets the attack boost when it Teras. So now you're getting an attack boost on your Tera Fire type plus the Chien-Pao drop and defense all around. You're doing massive damage. You are taking out most of the metagame with that. Okay, like Ogerpon is just like dropping things like Ivy Cudgel. That is not how you spell Ivy Cudgel, right? Ivy Cudgel is going to be Fire type on this variant. It's going to match the type of the mask. But more importantly, it also has a chance to crit. It's 100 base power and cannot miss. It's just incredibly strong. And don't forget about Ogerpon's 1.2 attack boost as well, just from the fact that it's holding on to one of these mask items, which kind of makes up for the fact that it doesn't hold an item, which honestly it probably didn't need, but here we are. But here we are. So, you know, Chien-Pao Ogre, and a lot of people are actually just slapping Fluttermane on this core as well. This is a very common 3, and you can see that just by looking at some of these tournament results right here, right? Like, especially if I just go into the Ogerpon usage stats right here, right? Like, you got Ogerpon, Chien-Pao, Ogerpon, Fluttermane, Ogerpon, all 3 of them right here, Ogerpao, Chien-Pao, right? And that's just the one tournament. I can go over here as well, look at Ogerpon. Unfortunately, guys, Limitless doesn't divide the types of Ogerpons yet. I feel like that's still like gonna take a little bit while for them to implement. But right now you've also got Ogerpon, Chien-Pao, Flutter, Ogerpon, Chien-Pao, Flutter, Ogerpon, Chien-Pao, Flutter, right? This core is dominating, right? I would assume a lot of these are actually gonna be Fire. Yeah, Heath Flame Mask, right? Same with the one that went 6-1 here is probably Fire. Yeah, once again with the Heath Flame, right? And this is only looking at 2 of these first, I think it's 8 tournaments. Guys, I will leave all these tournament links down below, so you guys, if you want to explore the meta yourselves, you can go ahead and take care of that, no problem. But let's get back to the standings page right here. And this kind of brings us into our second point, right? And my second point right now is actually just going to be Iron Hands, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Iron Hands in the top 6 right here. Or, yeah, in the top 6, which is kind of... So yeah, 6 out of 6 Iron Hands in the top 6, which is pretty good because clearly this tournament only had a top 6 by the looks of things, based on where the resistances stop. So 6 out of 6 in top 6 there with Iron Hands. Little bit less here, but there's still at least 4 out of 10, or yeah, 4 out of 8 right there, which isn't bad. Hands. They're like, you're looking at these results, and just Iron Hands is everywhere, guys, and rightfully so. This mon is incredible, okay? It has incredible HP stat, incredible defense stat, and its special defense weakness is boosted by the fact that you don't need to invest in anything else because you can do this and you can go Assault Vest. That should be 236, but you get my point, right? And you just do this. This Pokemon is incredible. This Pokemon, I hate to say it, it might just do it all, guys, okay? Obviously, there are ways to take it down because, like, Landorus is a very strong counter to it, but right now, this Pokemon is just allowed in the metagame, and it's everywhere, so to speak, right? Like, hands. That's a Komodo. But, like, besides the point, they're everywhere, right? A couple more hands down here as well, right? There's just so many Iron Hands within Top Cut. And if I look at the metagame tabs as well over here, right? It is the 3rd most usage mons. It is a little scary that its win percentage is only 43%, but when you're using a Mon, sorry, its win percentage is 57. So I was reading the wrong stat, right? But like 57% win percentage in this tournament. Let's just take another example over here. Iron Hand's 52% win. When you're being used 43% of the time and you're winning, and you have a winning record, that is genuinely pretty good, right? Because like even in another tournament, right, Hands is actually a little bit fallen off here, only 37%, but 50% win rate still, right? I don't think this Mon has less than a 50% win rate in anything it's been used in. Okay, I lied. As I say that, I found the one tournament where it's 46%. So you guys can ignore me. Clearly, it's a bad Mon. I've been lying to you guys this entire time. No, but I really do think Iron Hands is just slotting into teams. It's a very good support piece that a lot of people just can utilize, right? Like you go fake out, you get fake out, you got great bulk, you have a way to one-shot Fluttermane if you want it. You hit water types, you drain punch to heal yourself back up. It is a really disgusting Pokemon, right? Like I'm not going to talk about too many cores with Iron Hands because I don't feel like those have changed too much from Regulation D. You're going to have your Iron Hands. Amoonguss has fallen off a little bit, but like Iron Hands Ogerpon is going to be generally pretty good as like a replacement for the Amoonguss. Iron Hands Shempow I don't think is going anywhere, as you guys can see it here a couple times as well, right? I believe you're also going to see it here, right? Once again, there's the Iron Hand Amoonguss, but Iron Hands Ogerpon here as well. It's there, right? And it's just stuff like this that it doesn't go anywhere. And what I think people forget about sometimes when you're looking at early in a meta, people try to just restart things, right? They will try to be like, oh, it's a whole new meta game, and they just kind of forget about what happened to get us to this point. But with the way these metagames work and the way these series are working, it's just simply additions to the old formats, right? Yes, sometimes things come in and invalidate other cores, but sometimes cores withstand a test of time, right? Like, there is never going to be anything wrong with Iron Hands Cresselia. That is going to be a core that is going to get Trick Room up. You know, Iron Hands plus a Redirect or Grass type is going to be good as well. Iron Hands Shempow is going to be good, right? So instead of throwing these cores away, I think it's important to look at them and say, how do we adapt this core to update to the meta, right? And I think Turbo here is a good example here because it also brings me to my next point in Blood Moon Ursaluna, because we're not seeing a lot of that Mon, or as much as that Mon as I thought we would be seeing right now. But I think it's a very good Mon and a very good way to update these cores. Because first of all, I think Dusclops is something to consider on Blood Moon Ursaluna. But a team like this, right? You've got your Iron Hands and the Blood Moon. I think that's very, very strong. I think it's a cool option as well. And that's just a core that not a lot of people are using. Like if I go back to the metagame tab for these tournaments and I'm looking for Blood Moon, right? I think there's only one of them in this tournament actually. Yeah, one Blood Moon Ursaluna here. Let's go over here real quick. We'll just do a few of them. I'm not going to filter through all of them, guys. There's actually 9 in this tournament, right? But even in a tournament like this, right? Iron Hands, Iron Hands, Iron Hands, Iron Hands, Iron Hands, Iron Hands, and Iron Hands. There are, what was that, 6 of them out of the 9 Blood Moon Ursaluna teams. 6 of them had Iron Hands. It is a very good combination because it just allows you to get Trick Room up, right? And it's Iron Hands. I have it over here in my builder. It's going to be Iron Hands plus Ursaluna Blood Moon plus a Trick Room setter. I don't know. I don't really care what Trick Room setter you put here. You can do a lot. I think Sinistra is a really cool Pokemon. I just talked about Sinistra with a guide on how to use it. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. But of course, like Sinistra could be very cool on this team because then you're a Ghost type redirector, keeping the fighting types attacks away from your Ursaluna. Therefore, maybe not forcing you to go like Ghost type. But Ghost type is still genuinely pretty good, right? But Blood Moon Iron Hands Trick Room setter is going to be a core, right? I'll just tab over here to this random tournament. We'll go metagame. Where's Blood Moon? Probably not too many, I don't think. Yeah, 2 Blood Moon Ursaluna. But once again, Iron Hands Trick Room setter. Actually, is there no Trick Room setter here? Sinistra. Iron Hands Trick Room setter, Blood Moon. Right? This is this core right here. This is, right? You can pretty much go to any tournament and you're going to see this core. This core is good. I think it definitely needs to be explored. And I think that's something that is not like super seen at the top tables, right? Because if I go back to the standings, like, okay, I picked the wrong tournament, right? Because it obviously just won this tournament. So very much so it's good, but it's not like there's a lot of it going around, right? The Ursaluna Blood Moon usage isn't very high. Let's go back over here, right? Blood Moon, where are we? Did it even make this tournament? Is there really no Ursaluna Blood Moon in this tournament? That's crazy. That is crazy. I found the one tournament with no Blood Moon Ursaluna. But my point being, that actually almost proves my point in that this core is really, really good and it's very underexplored because, as you see, it's winning tournaments over here. right? Over here, right? It's winning tournaments. So I definitely think it's something to consider moving forward, right? Like Iron Hands, Trick Room Setter, Blood Moon, I think is just incredible. An incredible, incredible core. Something else I want to talk about real quick is Landorus Fluttermane. This is not a new core. This core was seen in Regulation D, but this core is just going to stick around, guys, okay? If we go back to some of the standings pages, right? Fluttermane, Lando, Fluttermane, Lando. Let's go over here. This is a tournament I haven't clicked on in a while. Let's click on the Landers here just so we get them. Fluttermane, Lando, Fluttermane, Lando. This one actually didn't have the Fluttermane, but it had a ghost type, so that's kind of fair. Fluttermane, Lando, Fluttermane, Lando, right? It's stuff like this that these cores are very, very good, right? The ground typing offensively hits everything that Fluttermane cannot hit. If you want to resist Fluttermane, you are going to be weak to ground, or at the worst, or at the best case scenario, neutral to it, right? If you want to bring in your steel type to eat the Moonblast, and now you got to face down a Lando, right? So naturally, this core is very good. It's similar to the Great Tusk Fluttermane stuff, where they just cover each other so well offensively that it's really hard not to use. But now you get the benefit of having Landorus with Intimidate to just patch up this defense stat on Fluttermane. This core is not going anywhere, guys. This core is going to be very, very strong. I also think, once again, Ogre is going to be on this team. And I think you're going to see Ogerpon on a lot of teams because there's so many different roles it can fit, right? It's not just a one-type Pokemon. It is effectively four different Pokemon, right? Like, yes, they do similar things with the Follow Me, the big grass damage, but the other types on this Ogerpon really allow it to fit the needs of the team while still allowing you to have an Ogerpon, right? With Amoonguss, sometimes Amoonguss didn't really fit the team, right? Where you were too offensive of a team, so you needed a backbone and it worked, right? Sometimes you became too passive because you had an Amoonguss. But with a Pokemon like Ogerpon, it's not a passive mon, but can still give you the benefits of redirection, can still give you that grass typing, which is pretty good. And it's not the frailest mon either, right? With 80, 84, 96. You're going to see Ogerpon on a lot of teams because it allows it to slot in on different teams, right? It's going to be, if they don't separate Ogerpon usage, it's probably going to be higher usage than Fluttermane, in my opinion. This mon should be, I don't want to say on every team, but should be on a lot of teams, especially because there's so many ways to use this Pokemon. But Lando, Flutter, Ogerpon, going to be a thing. Lando, Flutter in general, incredible. Anybody miss Tornogre? No, I'm not talking about Kyogre. Kyogre, you can get on out of here. This is the new Tornogre, guys, okay? This one is a little less seen right now. It's not quite as common, but if I do look at some of the Torn teams, there's Tornogre. Tornogre on 2 of them in this tournament. Where's Torn here? 22 Torns in this tournament. 5 and 2 Torn. No Ogre, actually, so that's kind of cool. So maybe I'm being proven wrong, but I thought for sure that you're going to see a lot of it. There's one of them right there. There's another one. Here's 4 in a row, right? Like, there is enough of it out here that I definitely think it's a core that needs to be considered, right? But generally speaking, I don't think Torn is a bad Pokemon. Torn is always going to be good. Prankster, Tailwind, beside offensive pieces, is going to be incredible. Is this Grass Torn? I'd be curious to see if they had Grass Torn. No, once again, Fire Torn. Fire Torn, I think, is probably the most common one out of the 4 right now, guys. It just puts on so much pressure. Mold Breaker allows it to shred through the Landorus, the Heatran stuff by ignoring the Flash Fire, right? So this is actually 2 of the cores of it. This is actually like 3 of the things that I talked about. You've got Flutter Lando, you've got Ogerpon Shenpao, you've got Ogre Torn, and you've got an Iron Hands. This is literally what my entire video was. My entire video is represented by Susei's team here, which I think is incredibly funny. Right? My entire video is represented in Susei's team. But that's pretty much what I'm saying, guys. This is what the meta is looking like to me. I talked about a lot. Something I do want to bring up quickly. Where's the standings here? I want to find the Conkelder, the Conk team. There it is. Okay. I want to find Conk's team here because this is the quote-unquote 222 Dondozo team. There's different sets on these variants, of course. Like the Dondozo has variations, right? Things like that all have variations. But the Shenpao Dragonite is very oppressive. Tatsugiri Dozo on its own, and Chiyu Fluttermane. They all require different pieces of your team to force into games. Now, I don't know how real this team actually is. However, what I do know is it has been dominating tournaments strictly off the hands of Rushiel right here. And there's gonna, I think if I was paying enough attention, that's the Mexican tournament. Let's see, standings over here. Yeah, another Rushiel victory over here. Just with this same concept, right? There's not too many people running this team. You don't see it around too much, so I don't think there's a lot of people prepping for it. And honestly, Rushiel is clearly piloting it well to be able to win tournaments. Like I think he's won of these tournaments that I have up. I think he's won like 3 of them and got top 4 at the other one. Like, it's absolutely insane, right? Like, the team obviously is very oppressive and does force things, but you still have to be a good enough player to play it, right? Because clearly there's a lot of people that, like, if the team was just that good, everybody would be running it. Like, I do think the team is good, but it does take a certain player to play it and play it well. So, definitely interested to see that and see where Dozo goes in this meta, because you don't see a lot of Dozo, right? Like, Dozo falls off pretty effectively. In fact, I'd say the water Ogerpon walls it out pretty good right now. The regular grass Ogerpon is pretty good versus it as well. So Dozo, I think, is going to have to adjust into the metagame if it wants to be here still. But it's definitely doing some things. But, hey, there's it is, another Conch Elder W. Another Conkeldonk. But, you know, I guess I could talk about Hisuian Arcanine, but I feel like that's not as prominent as the rest of these cores that I've discussed today. Of course, guys, I'm missing other things that have been tested. Like, I haven't talked about Ninetales, but I think we're still waiting on like Alolan Ninetales to really see usage. Okidogi is starting to pick up a little bit in usage as well. But like I'll just throw some of these guys in here, right? Like, I think Ninetales Alola has potential to make a break into this meta. I think Okidogi, you could also see. I don't love the Okidogi stuff, but Guard Dog plus Bulk Up plus Drain Punch and stuff like that is kind of really, it's pretty cool, especially if you want to put it behind screens. Maybe these two in general could be cool, right? I've seen a lot of hype about Okidogi, and maybe it's just because it's a cool design, but like, who really knows? I definitely think there's a spot in the meta for it. Like, his stats aren't bad at all, right? Maybe you throw like an Assault Vest Drain Punch stuff in here. Good luck taking this down, right? There's a lot of Pokemon that I didn't really get a chance to talk about, right? There's also, you have to talk about like Urshifu kind of not being nearly as high anymore because of all these Ogerpons that are around. I still think Urshifu is very good. It's just not going to be that 50% usage mod anymore. It's probably going to drop to like 30-ish by the end of the meta, I would say. But that's going to be a quick snapshot, guys. I really don't want to keep these videos. I'm really going to try and keep these videos a little bit shorter, right? Just because like it's meant to be like a snapshot of the metagame. I could sit here and talk for 17 hours probably about all the different teams and all the different combos in these tournaments. It's just not worth it, right? So like my main goal here was to give you guys the snapshot of the metagame, right? Kind of what's popular right now. Let you guys kind of see what's doing well, what might has what English is a tough language. What might have potential to do well, right? And just keep a snapshot kind of thing, right? Snapshot with a little bit more of an explanation because it's a video and I have the opportunity to explain things to you guys, right? Because like, you could easily take a screenshot of these 4 right here and say these are the cores in the metagame, right? And just put out a tweet. But like, having the explanations, having different ways to potentially play them, go about them, I feel is very valuable. But if you guys do enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I would like to make more content like this in the future, so let me know if you guys do enjoy something like this. Also, let me know if you guys think like I missed like a very common core. I'd be super interested to see what you guys think is happening in the meta as well, because like, this is just one person's opinion, right? There are tons of different options, tons of different ways to look at metagames and look at standings. This was, like I said, meant to be a snapshot, meant to highlight some cores that I saw. So let me know if you guys saw any cores that are on the rise that I kind of overlooked in here in the comments down below. But with that, guys, I'm gonna get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in a future video.